Yeah, hi guys, my name is DCN, and today we'll be looking at recursion. Um, so, what is recursion? Recursion is just a function that calls itself. So, you write a function, and inside that function, you write the same function so that it calls itself all over and all over until a condition is met. So, that's to say, there are two types. There are two conditions and when writing a recursive function, a base statement and the recursive statement itself. So the base statement is what must be met for the recursion to stop calling itself. So we are going to be looking at example use recursion to create a range of numbers. So I've already console log into that number. So we have range of numbers 1 to 3. So this is function already. So first thing I'm going to do is to create my base case or my base statements, and it will be if okay. So if I'm writing a recursive statement that will find the range of numbers, at what condition would you think the function will stop calling itself? For me, I'll say it's when the start number is greater than the end number, because it will only make sense. Your start number cannot be greater than the end number. So when the start number is greater than the end number, then stop calling the function. So I can now say when the start number is greater than the end number, then what do you want it to do? Just going to recall an empty array, because at the end of my statement, I want all the range of numbers to be appended to an array. So this is what happens. So else, so this is where I create my recursive statements. Recursive statements. Yep. So else going to return two things. Okay, so now this is where the whole math thing comes into place. So I can say, since I'm creating a function that calls itself, what I'll do is I'll copy the original function here. That's the thing, so that calls itself, but something has to change. Now, since I'm using my start number as a condition to break the recursive function, it only makes sense that start number needs to change. It needs to keep changing until it's greater than the end number. And for that to happen, I can just increment my start number with 1. Okay, so but now let's do this. So I don't want to return it at once. I want it to satisfy a statement so that I will be able to append whatever is returned to this to an array. So this is what will happen. Just going to copy this guy. I'm going to create a variable. Let's let array equal to function 10. So what happens when this guy returns a value? It's going to make dot shift my start number. Don't worry, I'll explain all of this soon. Then on the end, return array. Okay, don't worry, it's best practice. So that's basically it. So if I run this script, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what's happening here? Let me dock my screen so I explain it well. I already created a notepad to explain everything. So this was happening. I created constant, but yeah, I used array, but let me just change it. Okay, let's. So what happens is my start number is 1, so it comes here. Start number is 1 and my end number is 3. My end number doesn't change, it doesn't need to change. So range of number, my start number 1 plus 1 gives us 2, so this becomes 2, 3. So when this statement is recalling itself, it's going to unshift the start number, which is 1. So it becomes a range of numbers. So our new start number becomes 2. So it comes is 2 greater than the end number, which is 3. No, so it can return an empty array. It comes here. Our new start number becomes 2. So 2 plus 1 end number, 2 plus 1, then my end number dot and shift our start number. So our new start number becomes 2. So when it's trying to recall, our start number becomes 2. So 2 plus 1 gives us 3. So when this function is calling itself again, our new start number becomes 3. So when it calls itself again, so this becomes 3. So 3 plus 1 gives us 4. 3 plus 1 gives us 4, and dot and shift our original start number, which is 3. So in this case now, our start number here, which is 4, is greater than 3. So it's going to return an empty array, which is this. So for me, how I love to see recursion is when JavaScript is interpreting our lines of code, it begins from the top. But when trying to return the result back to us, it starts from the bottom going upwards. So this statement is going to return an empty array, which is our base case. So what we have here is an empty array, but on shift pre. So this will result to 3. So our 3 is what will be returned to range of numbers 3, 3. So what will be here will be I copy it and I can copy it. Let me just make it quick. So 3 dot and shift 2. So you should already know that what unshift does is it takes a number and appends it in front of a particular number when working with arrays in JavaScript. So dot unshift would return 1, 2, 3. So this is what we get returned to our very first recall. So when I copy this number, I replace it with this guy. So this will return, so our final answer becomes 1, 2, 3. Yep, so because of shifted 1, and that's what. So our console log, whatever the function of our value gets, gives us 1, 2, 3. So that's basically it when it comes to recursion. What you just need to have in mind is when JavaScript is trying to recall a function, it starts from the top going downward. But when compiling the results, so like there's console for you to see the output, it begins from the bottom. Mind you, what this return array does is it begins from the bottom to return a value, so returns array. So this empty array gets returned to our second recall, gets returned to our first recall, and that is it. So special thanks to FreeCodeCamp. That's why I learned everything that I know about JavaScript. It's a very good platform for you to go and begin your journey as a software engineer in JavaScript, Python, data structures, algorithm. I'm going to leave the link below for you to take a look at FreeCodeCamp. I would highly recommend it to anyone. So this is my first time uploading a channel on YouTube. With time, I'm going to get better, but just do me a favor and subscribe and like this video if you find it useful. Thank you.